good afternoon, good evening, wherever and whenever you are. We're going to do a quick practice for post run. So I am a runner and I know that I constantly make the mistake of going for a run and then right away just wanting to take a shower and eat. So not really stretching, not really giving my body a chance to recover. So this will be a good opportunity and reminder for me to do those things. And then hopefully you find this helpful as well. Post run to at least give yourself 15 minutes to get into the body and decompress some of those joints and some of the tendons after you've just gone for a run. So you really don't need any props today, but you may find a blanket or a towel helpful. So I have this blanket here, but a towel will do the same thing to give us some cushion and some propping. So we're going to start seated. I'm folding my blanket in half. I'm going to sit right on the edge of it to help elevate my hips. And let's just come into a quick breath practice to really establish this connection with the body. So sit however is comfortable for you. That may be bringing one foot in front of the other, maybe half lotus, maybe crisscross applesauce, or you can even extend the legs out if that feels better. We're going to try to tip the pelvis forward so the spine is long, the shoulders are relaxed, and let's just connect to the breath here. Maybe close your eyes or maybe look down at the space in front of you. And we'll connect to the breath by coming into our Ujjayi breath, inhaling in through the nose, exhaling out. Inhaling in, exhaling out. And we use this breath. Our intention is to use this breath today to help us get deeper into the body and to release. Inhaling in, exhaling out. So let's just continue on with that breath. Establish a commitment to stay with that breath. And let's start to get into the inner thighs and the groin. We're going to begin to bring the bottoms of the feet together. So just depending how your groin and your inner thighs feel today, if it's tight, if you're feeling a lot of tension there, maybe heels further away. If you're feeling open or maybe you want some more, then you'll bring the heels in. Knees start to come down, and maybe even giving a few gentle flutters here, but still staying connected to that breath, inhaling in, exhaling out. And then we'll find stillness, still finding that breath connection. So this is an area of the body that we definitely cause some tension, that we work when we run, especially if you had any incline in your run today. So we're going to stay here, keep those legs static, and we're going to also begin to loosen up the upper body. So let's start to drop the left ear towards the left shoulder, and let's gently crawl that right hand out. So we have this long line of energy from the longest finger all the way up and out of the crown of the head. Inhaling in, exhaling out. So typically after a run, maybe we think we need to really stretch the legs, or we know we need to stretch the legs. We may not always do it. But we also need to decompress that upper body. So some of us, when we run, we scrunch our shoulders, or we cause some tension there. And so it's a good idea to also notice what's going on with the upper body so we don't start to have injuries or issues there. Let's start to crawl the hand back, and we're just going to switch sides. So now let's bring the opposite ear to the shoulder, crawl that opposite hand out. Again, creating that long line of energy from the longest finger out the crown of the head. Inhaling in, exhaling out. And maybe on your exhales, you can imagine just tension or tightness leaving the body. If there's a particular spot that's tense or tight, and sometimes we don't even know that until we start this stretch, maybe imagine yourself breathing into that spot, releasing that tension. And we'll start to crawl the hand back. And maybe just take a few moments here in any intuitive, natural movement that makes sense to you, rolling the shoulders, rolling the neck. Notice what's going on in the body. We're gonna move on in just a moment. So we're gonna bring the hands underneath the knees, slowly bring them back together, and then let's extend the legs down straight in front of us. And maybe adjusting those hips, legs are extended. And we're gonna come to a yin posture called caterpillar pose. This is one of my favorite poses. You'll see it a lot in my classes. And we'll just start to spill forward. So belly towards the thighs, nose towards the knees, forehead towards the shins. And it doesn't matter where the hands land. Maybe they land on the thighs, the shins, maybe you touch the toes. The depth of the pose or where we end up is not the important part. It's those gentle movements that get us there. So on our inhale, the hamstrings and the spine lengthen. On the exhale, the belly spills forward a little bit more. So we're really intending here to decompress the hamstrings, the spinal cord, the back of the neck, all those places that we can build up tension when we run. So when we run, we're really compressing a lot of the joints. They're jamming together. So this is a great pose to intend to decompress them. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, finding depth. And this is an accessible enough pose where we can do it most places. So maybe after a run, if you're deciding, to relax or maybe watch something, perhaps you can just jump into this pose. Give your body that opportunity to decompress. Really allow the chin to droop down towards the chest, lengthening the back of the neck. I know for me, that's one area that I really tense up when I run. And take 5 more deep breaths in. We're still finding that inhale in through the nose, exhale out. Inhale, we're lengthening the body a little bit more. Exhale, maybe we creep forward just gently. Even if that's just an energetic movement, it may not be a physical movement. And right here, let's take a big inhale in through the nose. Open the mouth and let it go. We'll gently start to come on up and just take a few moments to maybe roll out those shoulders, roll out the head and neck, maybe wiggle the toes and the ankles. And we're going to start transitioning to all fours. So here's maybe where you want to move your blanket or your towel to under the knees. I have a lot of sensitivity in my knees, so I need this for some padding underneath the hard floor. You may not have that issue, but sometimes it's just nice to have that support, even if we don't have pain or sensitivity today. So we're bringing the knees right underneath the hips, and we're gonna bring those wrists right underneath our shoulders. We're gonna put a gentle bend in the elbow so we're not hyperextending into that elbow joint. And we're gonna come into our cat and cow postures. So on our inhale, we're gonna drop our belly and lift our heart, lengthening the spine. And on our exhale, we're gonna round the back, chin towards the chest. Inhale into that cow pose. Exhale, cat back. So with your own breath, let's take a few rounds of cat and cow, continuing to stay connected to that intention to decompress the body. We're going to stay with this cat and cow motion, and maybe we'll add on. So really just listen to your own inner wisdom, be intuitive, and perhaps you also roll around the neck. Maybe you move the hips side to side. Continue to find what you need here. We'll stay here for a few more moments. Inhaling in, exhaling out. We'll just take a few more breaths to maybe just find anything else intuitively you need here. Maybe you move those hips back. Maybe you drop the hips forward. Maybe here you start to realize like, oh, yeah, there is some tension there. There is some tightness there. So give your body the chance to discover that and shake it out. We'll start to come back to center, and we're gonna come into a lunge starting on the left side today. So we're gonna bring the left foot towards the front of the mat, in between the hands. Now, some of us maybe moved that foot really easy and quickly today. Others of us, maybe we need to assist and actually pick up that ankle, pick up the heel and move it forward. So we're looking to have the ankle right on top of, the knee right on top of the ankle. Hands frame the foot. Let's take a few rounds of breath here to really open up the hips, the low back, the back quadricep, all things that we activate quite a bit in our runs. Inhaling in, exhaling out. And from here, we're going to start to crawl the left foot to the left corner of the mat, and hands will come to the inside. So we're coming into a more of a dragon lunge. In our yin yoga, we call this dragon pose. And this is a really great pose for the hip flexors, also for that back quadricep. Again, all parts of the body that we really get into in our runs and compress. So we're looking for that decompression. With every exhale, just releasing a little bit more. Inhaling in, exhaling out. And then we'll start to inch that foot back to center. And on our exhale, we'll begin to bring the ankle back, knees together. Take your time. Again, a few small steps or maybe one big swoop. And if you need to, maybe you shake out the wrists here. Maybe you take a quick cat and cow before we move to the other side. So we'll start to set up that right side now, bringing that right foot forward. Right knee is on top of the right ankle. Take these first few rounds of breath to open up the hip on this side and also that back quadricep. Inhaling in, exhaling out. And on our next exhale, we'll start to crawl that foot towards the right side of the mat. So right foot inches towards the right side, hands on the inside. Inhaling in, exhaling out, getting a little bit deeper now into that hip flexor. Just notice what's going on there. This pose can be very confrontational. Your hip can really start talking to you, your back quadricep can really start talking to you. And can you just breathe through that? And let's inch that foot back to center. Take your time, and then we'll slowly come back to the knees. And here from the knees, we're going to come to a foot stretch. So we're going to curl those back toes under. And you may even need to reach back and adjust the toes, especially that little pinky toe that tends to escape. So we'll curl those toes under. We'll take a few moments to put the weight on the heels, and that's gonna really get us into the bottom of the feet. So our feet are, what carry us through our runs, and we don't give them a lot of love. This may start to get intense quickly, and you're always welcome to bring the hips off of the heels if you need a little bit less intensity. But say if you can breathe through it, can you just intend here to give your feet the love that they need and they deserve, even if it's uncomfortable for a few moments? We won't be here very long. Inhaling in, exhaling out. And let's start to lift those hips up, bring the hands to the mat, and we're gonna flip the toes. So now the tops of the feet are connected to the mat, and we're gonna sit back on those heels once again, stretching out the tops of the feet and also the shins. Maybe we even use the hands to support us and lift the knees up. If that's too intense, you can always bring the knees back down. Inhaling in, exhaling out. This is a really great pose to help treat or prevent shin splints. This pose really saved me when I started to notice that I may be getting shin splints. It's a really great way to decompress that part of the body, and also the tops of the feet, which are an area that don't get a lot of love and attention in our other poses. And right here, let's take a big inhale in. Open the mouth and let it go. Let's start to come out, back to hands and knees. Maybe you shake out those feet, maybe you kick them, maybe you wiggle them. And it might feel a little bit painful at first, but then as the blood flow starts to increase, we'll give new oxygen to that area of the body. And let's just come to a comfortable seated pose. Again, crisscross applesauce, half lotus, or maybe legs extended to seal this all in. We'll return to that breath, inhaling in, exhaling out. Maybe you let your hands rest on the knees, or maybe press the palms together at the heart as we seal in our post-run practice. And thank you for taking time to give your body a little bit of love after your run. And I hope you can take some of this intention with you throughout the rest of your day. With so much love and gratitude, namaste.